Ladies and gentlemen, it's Tuesday, 29th of June 2021. England are playing Germany tonight. Let's bring it home. Let's bring it home. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got so much to get through. It's bonafide conservatism, it's genuine, it's traditional, it's patriotic, prodigious news with the prominent Professor Johnson at P&G. Thank you all for tuning in. We've got so much on board. As I was just saying, you newcomers that are just joining the show on YouTube, Castbox. I'm also on another platform called Meet Me. It's coming home, ladies and gents. It's coming home. England tonight, we've got a lot in the news. Gareth Southgate talking about the up-and-coming squad. We've got more on road collisions, UK politics, COVID, and what's happening on the airports, where you can fly, what you can't fly to, the traffic light system, as you know. We've got a lot to get through. Thank you all for coming through. Please subscribe to Proclamation News and Gatherings on Castbox or YouTube. I hope you're going to enjoy the show. Before we enter the road collisions in Essex, I'll give it a quick shout out to my sponsors. As you know, it's one of the things that we do methodically. You're on about changing your aspirations in life. You want to better your aspirations. You're not happy with your job. Maybe your job that you're doing is not sufficient for your health needs. Maybe you suffer bad back. For my instance, Raynaud's. If you suffer with arthritis, perhaps, maybe a change of job is for you. There's adult learning courses you can go and do. You might have to take a deficit in your pay cut, but it's not the end of the world. It's well worth doing. If you want to change your aspiration in life, go and do adult college, adult learning courses. It's very, very important, and you need to know this, because you're doing bricklaying or building. It's taking a toll on your back. You can think, I need to retire. What can I retire doing? Is adult learning courses. You can do there's a computer, what's it called? ECDL, European Driver's License Computer Course. European Driver's License Computer Course, yeah. EC, European Computer Driving License. There you go. That's just the basic, using all the different software like Word, Excel, spreadsheets, all them kind of things that you need in your day-to-day routine working in an office. Maybe you'll work as an admin staff or something like that, as a secretary for some, maybe a secretary for a school, secretary for an insurance company, anything like that. You need all these skills. You need all these cognitive skills to have a better chance of getting a job position. So, it's well worth thinking about changing your aspirations in life for the better your health, the better your knowledge. Anyway, with relax-uk.com, this will help you. Maybe suffering a bit of alcoholism, narcotics. You want to better your broaden your horizon. Start putting fuel in your body with the right stuff. So, Relax UK Limited, health, travel, wellness products since 1997. UK relaxation shops selling various ranges of products from relaxation, travel, well-being, biofeedback, sleeping, and natural products. Make sure you check that out online. It's well worth. If you're thinking about going into health and nutrition, you want to fuel your body with the right stuff. Relax-uk.com. There you go. Have a look at all the products. I have over 1,000 listeners a week at the minute. Usually I have about 5,000 a week, but slowed down because I'm not using the platform I should be, but I will be using it in the coming months to broaden my horizon and reach out to more occupants inside the UK, because it's important that I get the information across the whole dominion of the UK, I believe. PSS Alarms also sponsors Proclamation News and Gatherings. It's a very etiquette and pragmatic work carried out. Make sure you get pen and paper ready to take his phone number down. All areas are covered, including central station monitoring provided. All work done according to insurance requirements. This is a friend of mine's company. He's carried out etiquette works in Harry Kane's stepmother's house in Hertfordshire, in Potter's Bar. Harry Kane's stepmother's house. The house is absolutely ginormous. I was there when he's pricing the job up. He's carried out etiquette works in Essex, such as Casbah Restaurant, and many more big businesses. Mention Professor Johnson for an extra discount. Mention Professor Johnson for an extra discount. Installation of maintenance of intruder alarms, fire alarms, CCTV. So if you've got an intruder alarm, it can sense when someone's come up towards your property, it'll beep, your alarm will beep and give you the significance that someone's outside of your property, could be breaking in, or just gallivanting around your building. It's important that you make your safety, your family, your priority. All work guaranteed and certified to SSAIB standards. 24-hour call-out service. Can provide CCTV for pubs, clubs, restaurants, or new business setup. Secure your business. Mention Professor Johnson for an extra discount. Secure your home, secure your business. Your safety and priorities within your business are paramount. So think safety, think first, secure your equity. Get your pen and paper ready, because where was it? Billy Ricky, a farmer, had a shotgun in his house. Well, some young lads knew that he was a farmer and knew he'd have a gun because he marshals the field, marshals the farmland. So these two young lads in that age, young 20s, I think one was about 22, the other one was about 26, broke into his property and shot him dead. So, you need CCTV up outside your building for the safety of your family. It's very, very important. Very, very important that you make your safety a priority and your families. You don't know what's around the corner, who's going to break into your house. The phone number is 07908 216 142. Get a pen and paper ready, because the number is 07908 216 142. 07908 216 142. No, you stop all the hatred of your exes. You might have an ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, maybe a future ex, and mental health can take its toll, and they can come and attack at any given moment. So it's better to be practice safe. Safety, very, very important. Anyway, before entering the roads, ladies and gents, think safety, think first. Do not enter the vehicle under sleep deprivation, under the influence of alcoholism, under the influence of narcotics. It takes 24 hours to sleep off alcoholism. And if you haven't had a sufficient sleep, you shouldn't be entering the vehicle, because you're putting not only your life at risk, innocent people's life at risk. Mothers, babies on board, fathers, babies on board, innocent drivers. So, if you're going to go out on a Friday night, do not enter your car until a Sunday you've had a sufficient sleep. Don't go in your car the next day and drive home from where you've been. Make sure you have sufficient sleep. So you're going to go on a weekend away, say if you're in southwest or southeast, then you'll go to Newcastle for a night out. Make sure you booked a hotel for 2 or 3 days to sleep the alcohol off, and then to have sufficient sleep to drive back. It's important. Practice safety driving. It's very, very important before you enter the roads, guys. It really is. Innocent people's lives are dying through stupidity. Incompetent drivers. Check your tyres for PSI limits, making sure they are got sufficient air in the tyres. Make sure your tyres are not bowled. Checking your engine oil, your water coolant tank, making sure the top's maximum level. Check your centre mirror and your wing mirror before turning into a safe, sufficient directional choice, making sure motorcyclists and cars are not overtaken as you turn. Checking for police safety cameras, police further instructions, workers on the road, all the little things that you should be thinking. It should be your provocative to understand and take note and do as I say, pretty much. It's in your theory and you should do it. Simple instructions that, stop a lot of incidents in the road. Anyway, also plan your destination, making sure there's not any incidents, roadworks, congestion, road closure, lane closed, weather incidents. Imagine your mother is going for a heart operation and you missed it through your stupidity not checking the road map. Sometimes it's not, I'm not going to say you're stupid, because, if someone goes in hospital, you're going to panic. You're going to get a car. You're not going to think about looking at the road map, but have that second inkling that I'm drumming it into your head that next time you think, I might check the road map today just in case. Always have it on your mind. Every time I drown it into your brain, it will sink in, and you might think, Professor Johnson was actually absolutely correct. In Southend, there's an incident today, 29th of June, reported at 10 a.m. on the A127, heavy traffic in construction area. Prince Avenue both ways at Watchford Road, the Bell traffic lights in the construction area. Lane closures are in place. Cambridge in Milton. A10, slow traffic in construction area on A10 both ways at Milton turnoff. in the construction area. Temporary traffic lights are in place. The 29th of June 2021 at 10 a.m. is first reported. Down near Croydon, A232, heavy traffic in construction area on the A232 Crofton Road around Crofton Lane in the construction area. Temporary traffic lights are in place. Reported at 9:28 a.m. First reported today. One more incident and we're going to get on with the news, guys. We're going to get on with what's going on ahead of England and the Germany tie tonight. A232, heavy traffic in the construction area on that A232 Crofton Road. Oh, Crofton Lane. I've done that one already. Anyways, moving on to the. I'm very patriotic for England. Doesn't matter if it's football, boxing, rugby, whatever. We want England to win. We're in our national land of England, our dominion, against Germany. Many to our arch rivals in World War I and II. And, you know, we've been defeated a few times by Germany. Is this our time to come back with victory? Is this our time? Up the England, ladies and gents. I'm rooting for the England squad. England Euro 2020, last 16 with Germany on Tuesday, is an opportunity for his team to make some history, says manager Gareth Southgate. That's on this Tuesday, sorry. Yeah, this Tuesday, today. Southgate hopes to guide England into quarterfinals after reaching the last four of the World Cup in 2018. He's keen for his players to write a new chapter into the England-Germany rivalry, with several of them too young to remember some previous key meetings. The game is probably worthy of more than a second round stage, he said, but then so is Belgium against Portugal and one or two others. It's a great opportunity for his team to make some history and give people memories of England-Germany fixtures for the future that are a little different or some of the ones they've been flooded with over the last few days, which means absolutely nothing to them because they weren't born. England ahead of the Germany game, ladies and gents. You lot are just joining in. I'm at Proclamation News and Gatherings on YouTube and Castbox. I'm looking straight at my desktop above my phone. So you think, why are you looking straight at the cameras? Because I'm looking straight at my camera on my YouTube. England aiming to score the first major tournament knockout stage victory over Germany since 1966, when they take on Joachim Low's side in front of an expected 40,000 strong Wembley crowd. Germany have won all four knockout matches between the teams since losing 1966 World Cup final at Wembley. Those wins include penalty shootout triumphs and the 1990 World Cup and Euro 96, plus controversial 4-1 last 16 victory at 2010 World Cup when the officials failed to spot Frank Lampard's shot crossing the line. And Southgate admits the idea of extinguishing some of the pain from recent meetings with the Germans is a source of motivation ahead of Tuesday. We're playing against a very good side. You hear about Germany being this and Germany being that, and then you look at the team sheet and see four World Cup winners and about 6 Champions League winners. So huge, big game experience is added. Don't fear coming to Wembley. We'll have to play at our very best. We've got to be tactically well prepared. We've got to be physically well prepared and sociology well prepared. Part of England's preparation involved readying themselves for a possible penalty shootout, and Southgate, who missed a crucial spot kick in Euro 96 defeat at Wembley, insists his squad have prepared as thoroughly as we can. We always practice penalties, said Southgate. We did for the World Cup, we did for the Nations League, and we obviously won those 2 shootouts against Colombia and Switzerland. So we'll probably be thoroughly well prepared in the big tournaments and the big matches. The England boss will also make a late decision on the fitness of Chelsea duo Mason Mount and Ben Chilwell. Mount and Chilwell missed the win over the Czech Republic, having come into contact with Scotland's Billy Gilmour, who tested positive for COVID-19 after Scott's Group D with England on the 18th of June. They are only allowed into certain elements of training, so they can't take part in anything where the full team is training and tackling and all the sorts of things. So that is limited, said Southgate. I've got to see how they are physiologically as well. There's the training part of that, but there's also having to be in their room and not interact with the lads. So it's really tough situation for both of them. Southgate has been in charge since replacing Sam Allardyce in 2016. But while Football Association Chief Executive Mark Bunnan said earlier this week he will receive a new deal regardless of Tuesday's result, the 50-year-old insists his only focus of extending England's involvement in the tournament. I always think it's pointless talking about a contract situation until you get the end of the tournament and you see where everything sits. You have a much better picture of everything, how everybody feels about it, he explains. I really appreciate the backhand support, and I think if he hadn't done that, it would have caused a whirlwind of other stories. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm just realistic and focused on the now and doing as well as we can in this tournament. Thank you all for joining, ladies and gentlemen. You probably think, what is he doing? I am talking about my social, this is what I do, social media. I'm social class, part of the out-of-stock social elite. People come through and they listen to my radio most days. Did you see? No, I didn't, Green Maggie. I didn't see the fight. Sorry about that. I didn't see that fight. I'm ever so sorry. Thank you for joining my YouTube channel, ladies and gents. Just going a short break to see what's going on with LBC. See what's in headlines there. Then we're going to carry on with the show. I really appreciate everyone coming through to support on the show. I've got 12 people listening on Castbox. There's been a few popping in and out of YouTube as well. I'm on my Meet Me account. I've got 10 people listening on there. I appreciate everyone coming through to support the show. It really means a lot to me. But once I get the my other application back, we're going to have hundreds of listening a day. So it's going to be phenomenal. Pete, my mate, might come back on the show and have a chat with us as well in the near future. James O'Brien, ladies and gentlemen. James O'Brien. Hopefully. I don't want to create. It's asking me to create an account. I really don't want to. Got to create an account with LBC. I don't know why. It's been rather ridiculous. Bear with me 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. I want to get this to James O'Brien. We all love James O'Brien, don't we? Oh, my goodness. Can we just listen to James O'Brien or not? Oh. What's my date of birth? Bear with me, ladies and gents. This is really not what I wanted. It's because I'm set up an account with LBC. Who's looking forward to the England game? What time's kickoff? Is it 5 o'clock? What a poxy thing. Is it 5 o'clock tonight? The England game, anyone? 5 o'clock? Invalid email address. Oh my goodness. Give me my email address. Ah, that's why. Done that. Nope. This is how I work, guys. And that. So this. Let's get my nose. Right. Won't do, obviously. Making a can later. I ain't got time right now. We're going to crack on, guys, with the show. Sorry about that. Little pause of the show. It's not good, is it? It's It's not professional. It's not ethical, is it? My goodness. How'd you proud of me? So what's going on in the headlines today? BBC Politics. Just for a short moment.
It's Friday, it's 12:15 and we're live in Westminster.
It's Friday, so it's what is it for me? Thank you for joining the show, ladies and gents. Just having a little bit of a recap of what happened over the past few days. We all know I've been tackling that criminal law activity with Arsenal and Ahmed, with the,
With me today, author
MPs.
Will South, pro-Brexit Conservative MP Mark Francois, former government spin doctor Joe Tanner and feminist campaigner and comedian Grace Campbell. So what's going on today?
I think if there's that kind of establishment stitch-up to try and frustrate the process of Brexit, there will be a day of reckoning with the voters.
Theresa May is under pressure from all sides as she prepares to make a speech asking Brussels for help on her Brexit deal.
I think that now is the time, more than ever, that we really need to step up and raise our voices and make sure that we are heard.
It's International Women's Day. We'll ask what more needs to be done to reduce inequality. And Steve Bannon's right-hand man in Brussels tells us why he thinks populist politics is on the rise.
I think that you have to keep the tradition, you have to keep what you are.
Well, let's start with yesterday's tale of two apologies from two cabinet ministers. First of all, the Work and Pension Secretary, Amber Rudd, who during a discussion about MPs' abuse said, "It's worst of all if you're a coloured woman. I know that Diane Abbott gets a huge amount of abuse." She tweeted this apology: "Mortified at my clumsy language and sorry to Hackney Abbott. My point stands that no one should suffer abuse because of their race or gender." And then Karen Bradley, the Northern Ireland Secretary, said deaths caused by the security forces in Northern Ireland were not crimes. She then also tweeted an apology. It was copied into the Belfast Telegraph. "I do not believe what I said. That is not my view." Joe, if you were still advising those two politicians, or any politicians in the cabinet, is that what you would have advised them to do?
I think Amber was right to be very quick with her response. She was very fast. I think she tweeted quite quickly after it was an interview that she did.
It was.
There's still the element of she hadn't realised as she said it, that she didn't correct herself as she said it, but I think it was right to apologise quickly. I'm still quite shocked actually it happened. And I think it's quite unfortunate for Amber. I think particularly having been Home Secretary with all the Windrush stuff, I think it's a very difficult position for her now. However, I've no reason to think that her apology wasn't genuine. It just does seem like very outdated language to be using. And as for Karen, I mean, Karen's had some difficulties in Northern Ireland. It's not helpful now, in particular, given that Northern Ireland is so on the agenda, to even be stirring this up. I'm not even sure why it came up, why it was said in the first place. And there are almost in those briefs, there are certain things you steer away from, you just don't go into.
Well, she was asked a question. How did it look to you, what they said and the apologies?
Well, firstly on Amber, I mean, I have a lot of sympathy for Amber because she was basically trying to defend Diane Abbott. I mean, I think, as a male MP, we get lots of abuse. All MPs get trolled. It's a fact of life. But I do know from speaking to female colleagues that they get it far worse than we do. I mean, I've seen some examples. I mean, it's misogynistic filth, frankly, and I utterly condemn it. And I think
the word coloured, which people feel is outdated.
But I think what was the spirit of what Amber was trying to do? She was trying to come to Diane Abbott's defence and to say, as one senior female politician to another, I think what happens to you is wrong, and I'm trying to defend you. Now, she may or may not have used the right word in trying to do that, but the spirit of what she did was she was trying to defend Diane Abbott, not to attack her. Well, and I think, if anything, Diane should have been a bit more gracious about it. Well,
Amber Rudd just clearly doesn't spend a lot of time around black and ethnic minority people.
She didn't know the right word.
Yeah, it's very exposing.
So it exposes her as a white ghetto person, that's all.
And what about Karen Bradley's apology?
Resign.
it's over for Bradley, and I think she probably will have to.
You do?
She's handled the brief accordingly.
You think
Been
so?
a complete snapper for the boys, and they should pull her out now.
All right. Your comments
I
about the
mean-
apologies
I mean,
themselves.
it's shameful.
Amber Rudd's apology just really annoyed me because to call it, I mean, clumsy is to call her Diana by accident. It wasn't clumsy, it was just exposing, and that is a word that is in her vocabulary. And it just says a lot about the politicians that we have in this country.
And Karen Bradley?
And Karen Bradley, yeah, I agree as well. I think she'll have to resign.
I don't think she should resign.
Going into that brief, Mark, saying that she didn't understand that nationalists didn't vote for unionists and unionists didn't vote for nationalists. I mean, really, that's a level of staggering ignorance. I don't think anybody should even be sitting in Parliament if you didn't know that.
Well, I give you it, Will. That may not be the deepest grasp of our rights.
But does there need to be
Keep it
a
on state.
Okay.
Shameful.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I don't think she should have to resign. Let me give you the other side of this. right? I'm in contact with a man called David Griffin, who's 77 years of age. He's an ex-Royal Marine. He's a Chelsea pensioner. And he is being reinvestigated for firing a fatal shot in 1973. He was investigated at the time and fully cleared. And now we're going after Chelsea pensioners rather than going after alleged terrorists from the IRA. So
All
there are
right.
two sides to this.
And there are always two sides to everything, but on Karen Bradley as Northern Ireland Secretary was what we were focusing
I
on
don't
in
think
terms of her apology. You don't think she should have to resign. We're going to move on to Brexit because the Prime Minister, Theresa May, is making a speech in Grimsby, probably in the next 10 minutes or so. Let's talk to my colleague, John Pienaar. It doesn't look like John Pienaar, it looks like Ian Watson, I can tell. Oh, we've got both of them. Marvellous. Right, let's talk to John
We'll
Pienaar
be able to
first
show
of all
that,
in
gents.
Grimsby.
Have a
Is there
listen to that.
anything that she can
Thank you for staying patient, you wonderful people. Everyone's staying observed and preserved. It takes critical thinking, does it? To, tuition what I'm saying, tuition what's been said, take it on board, see what's affecting your day-to-day regime. Because something like upon the horizon, such as Arslan Ahmed, who stabbed that victim in the neck in Walthamstow. It shows you what's out there. It shows you what's in the criminal state of the humanities today. It could happen to any of us at any given moment, going shopping, walking the dog. A girl was jogging in my constituency in the town centre. She got beaten up by 5 blokes in broad daylight at 5 o'clock. She got beaten up, black eye. It's outside Colchester Castle. Shouldn't give out my constituency on over the radio, but Colchester Castle, she's jogging through the broad daylight at about 4 p.m. 5 blokes beat her black and blue for no apparent reason. She's only going for a jog for the park. It can happen to anyone. So it shows what's out there. It can happen to your niece, your nephew, your brother, your sister. You really have got to be safe. You ladies, you really need. I know it sounds outrageous, but you need to learn some sort of self-defense. The ladies have to take a weapon with them to protect themselves. It's becoming ludicrous, absolutely ludicrous, the way these women are getting beaten up for no apparent reason. Anyway, moving on, ladies and gents. Essex Live. A female teen stabbed in Sainsbury's car park and man under arrest. This is what I'm saying. Psychomotor state of people like got to turn 0 to 100 for the thought of actorius or mens rea. It's definitely mens rea in this circumstance. Mens rea is the thoughtful process of going to harm somebody. Actorius is murder. But I cannot believe it. It's horrific, absolutely horrific, absolute provocation caused in Sainsbury car park. Police have remained on the scene where there is a cordon. Essex Police, the police all over UK, what they do is phenomenal. A female teenager has been stabbed in Sainsbury car park tonight, Monday. Police were called shortly after 4:10. They have received reports of stabbing in supermarket parking area at Billiot Lane, Hornchurch today. We had one in Milton Keynes where the police had to shoot the guy. Unfortunately, the guy's dead, but the guy was harming his own baby, a 1-year-old baby. It's pretty, not even long out of the womb, and the guy was beating up his own baby. Police unfortunately shot and killed the father because he's acting inappropriate, incompetent, incomprehensible as a father. not fit for purpose, so the police had to use necessary force, and unfortunately, they killed him. I mean, any newborn baby, their life is at risk of getting beaten by a man. So the police have used necessary force, but unfortunately hit him in the wrong place to kill him. Should they have acted, in a different way? Quite possibly, but they did. Sounds like they did need to shoot him. If he's hitting the baby, you got to act fast, haven't you, to stop the baby from dying for that inappropriate father. Officers and London Ambulance Service attended the scene and found a woman, believed to be 18, suffering from knife injuries. Girl was taken to hospital where an update of her condition has not yet been given. Reports, My London. A 27-year-old man has been arrested at the scene of suspicion of attempted murder. Video footage from the scene shows part of Sainsbury car park cordoned off and police still at the scene. A black car has been inside the police tape with its boots open. Part of the car park has been cordoned off by the police. The crime scene remains in place as the officers continue their investigation. It is, how they counteract with criminal activity. It is phenomenal. You can only but take your hat off and praise the work they do for us to keep us safe. I've had a few incidents where I've had to report for my own safety, and yeah, they attend sufficiently, adequately enough. But sometimes you think they could do that little bit extra. But when they do that little bit extra, like that man's died, everyone's going to be in the critics now. We're trying to write them off. But they use necessary force to stop the baby being killed. Absolutely. I don't know if any of you guys argue against that, if you're against the police in any shape or form, but they use necessary force. Unfortunately for the father, his family, probably all going to be upset. Why did they have to shoot him and kill him? It's just a coincidence that they hit him in the wrong spot and the police acted appropriately. At the same time, the father shouldn't be beating a newborn baby. So that's their argument. And that's, people with a theological, thoughtful process would be looking at the same light as I do. Firms urge to give staff time off for England game. Staff should be allowed to finish work early to watch England take on Germany, Sir Keir Starmer said. Labour leader comments come after Trade Union Congress, the TUC, urged employers to be flexible in allowing workers time off to follow the Euro 2020 clash, which starts at 5 BST. TUC General Secretary Frances O'Grady said bosses being flexible can cut absences and boost productivity. She added staff could make up any lost time at a later date. Sir Keir tweeted to wish Gareth Southgate's side good luck ahead of last 16's clash against Germany before he added staff should be allowed to finish early so they can watch the match. The TUC's Miss Francis, who is an Arsenal and England fan, said millions of workers around the UK will want to cheer on the national teams in Euro 2020, especially after the tournament was postponed last year. Bosses should talk to their staff and try to let people who want to watch the games do so, either at work or at home, and then claim back their time afterwards. Whether it's about major supporting events like Euro 2020, attending a medical appointment or picking up the kids from school, allowing people more flexibility in how and when they do their work makes them happier. Maybe you can go to work an hour earlier or do an hour later at work just to cover the time that you lost just to go and watch England game. That's a fair shout, I believe. I mean, it's not always I agree with Sir Keir Starmer. He's the opposite position to me, isn't he? As I am Conservative. But I do take critical opinions lightly, and that is a good opinion. Absolutely. School Minister Nick Gibb said staff being allowed to leave work early for the game was really a matter for industry and for business. I have to be in a debate on the estimates in the House of Commons when the football starts, he told BBC Radio's Fours Today programme. Asked if his own staff at the Department of Education could finish early, he added, civil servants have a very demanding job and I'm sure they'll be able to juggle the demands of being a civil servant with being to sneak a glimpse. The TUC estimated more than 1 in 5 employees, 5.8 million people, work evenings and weekends. The union suggested boss Bosses talk with the employees about arrangements for key games. Now the tournament has entered the knockout stages. It's suggested it either allows staff to watch the game on the company's premises or from home. I absolutely agree. I mean, Sir Keir Starmer is right. I mean, he's got his job to try and litigate against Boris Johnson in the biggest judiciary in the UK. In the, you know, his legislation against Boris Johnson. He's got a mountain to climb, hasn't he? But he is a phenomenal leader for Labour. He's better than Jim Corbyn. I'll take my hat off to him. But you know, he's been in legislation for quite a while. He's been, you know, he was a criminal law legislator before, and now he's jumped into politics. He's jumped into the deep end against Boris Johnson, because Boris Johnson's been doing it since the day I was born, 1983. So that's 37 years experience, if not more. I don't know how many more years he's got. He was a journalist when he first started out. But he's got so much years experience. He's quick-witty, and Boris knows what he's doing. I mean, Conservative know what they're doing anyway. They're always helping the infrastructure, more policing, more NHS. What more can you argue with? It's everything you need for your safety, which is paramount. Absolutely. You cannot argue with it in any shape or form. But they should stop building on population growth. I know it keeps buildings in work, putting new buildings up, new restaurants up here, there, and everywhere. They're now doing a national theme park at the oh my goodness, a national theme park is going at the docks in, it's not far from Stamford-Hope, that sort of way. I can't think, but if you look it up you can find that yourself, because I can't remember where it is. But it's a multi-million-pound theme park right near the docks. I can't remember the exact location. I know it's Stamford-Hope sort of way. Anyway, police investigating after Chris Whitty accosted in park. Police are investigating footage which appears to show England's chief medical officer, Professor Chris Whitty, being accosted by two men in a park. Prime Minister Boris Johnson said he was shocked at seeing the despicable harassment of Professor Whitty. They're going to get it, aren't they? These stupid, incompetent people over this COVID are going to act inappropriate towards the, you know, any politician. The video shows two men laughing and jeering as they grab hold of a Professor Whitty. He struggles to free himself. The Met Police said it happened at St James's Park in London on Sunday, and all those involved had to be spoken to. The Prime Minister tweeted, "I condemn the behaviour of these thugs. Our hard-working public servants should not have to face this kind of intimidation on our streets, and we will not tolerate it." Other MPs to criticise the incident, including the new Health Secretary, Sajid Javid, who said it was appalling and totally unacceptable. He added CMO, the Chief Medical Officer, works tirelessly on behalf of the country. The men behaving in this disgraceful way should be ashamed. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer described it as disgusting behaviour, adding that the police were right to investigate this harassment. Jess Phillips, a Labour MP, tweeted, "Even if you perceive is as non-violent, it's clear that he felt awful and uncomfortable and resisted." Public figures are not dolls. They are human beings. It is stunning how easily this is forgotten. It's not the first time Professor Whitty has been filmed being confronted by a member of the public. Earlier this month, a man from Oxford accused him of lying to the public about coronavirus, while in February, a man accosted the chief medical officer outside Westminster. The Met said in a statement on the latest incident, "We are aware of a video being shared online showing that incident in St James's Park. Officers spoke to all those involved at the time and their details were taken. We're in contact with the victim and circumstances continue to be investigated. Professor Whitty has played a key role in the UK's response to the coronavirus pandemic, regularly appearing alongside the Prime Minister at televised COVID briefings." I don't know why people have to think it's conspiracy theory and then take it out on the politicians. They really don't. They're trying to make your life as safe as possible, giving out free vaccination. Them two people probably not going to have vaccination because they're just inappropriate, inhumane idiots. for no reason whatsoever, they've grabbed hold of our Professor Whitty. Without them sort of politicians in, you know, in charge, we wouldn't be safe as we are. We wouldn't be getting free medical treatment as we are. What if all the NHS staff turned around and said, well, everyone is paying for their prescription drugs now. We're sick and tired, working tirelessly for nothing. But thank for our government, their support for people that are not good doers, not going to work, going out, spending out on alcohols or narcotics. Because there's so many bums in this world that will get their money and go down the pub at the end of the month. And that's God's honest truth. We can't do but thank the law authorities that think crystal clear, straight, 365 days a year, every single year. They're thinking crystal clear, straight as a dice, keeping an eye on the democracy at large as well, making sure we're safe and protected throughout the environment, giving out free prescription for, you know, the poor that can't afford to go work. We can't but thank them for the hard work they do.
Say at all, Theresa May, that is going to move the dial ahead of the vote next week?
I'm not sure there's anything she's going to say when we hear her speak in the next 20 minutes or so that's going to have that effect. I'm not sure this speech is about that. We do know, because we're told these things aren't we overnight, she's going to be effectively making the point that it's up to the European Union to make the kind of moves, the kind of...
Should have a short break, guys. The last segment of the day is the traffic light system with the holidays abroad. So if you want to stay tuned, see what's coming in the forthcoming minutes, please do. Thank you very much. Please like the show and you can comment as well. I appreciate everyone commenting. I appreciate people sharing the show on YouTube and Castbox. I really appreciate you guys come through. I want to build the platform on all channels.
Concessions that would be needed to give her a chance of getting a deal through Parliament next week. No great expectation, I think, of this speech doing anything to achieve that. But I think
well, it was very windy and blowy up in Grimsby, and now we've lost John Pienaar altogether. So let's open it up here in the studio. Joe, is it getting embarrassing for the Prime Minister now if the papers, as we can show you here, the Telegraph are saying that she's literally begging the EU for some sort of compromise to help her out?
I think a lot of this process has been embarrassing. I think it's been embarrassing for politics generally, for Westminster generally. The whole process has been very depressing to watch. But I think the issue now is she's going back again. She's, upping the stakes each time. We're at this stage now where this, next meaningful vote is happening. And do we get anywhere? The clock is still ticking. The strategy, is it working? Is it not? Do the ERG want a ladder to climb down? Do they want some wriggle room? There's so many unknowns in this. However, the only person that really can move the dial at all is Theresa May. So it's right, she's doing something. I'm not sure a speech in Grimsby is necessarily going to make any.
Wow, this is really old. I thought this is a new update. This is when Theresa May was in the driving seat. Anyway, moving forward, ladies. Sorry about that. Boring your ears with old news. Stansted Airport and Southend Airport are flying to Malta, Spain and Portugal. They introduced new rules for the UK travellers despite green light changes. The restrictions are being introduced to quell the spread of the Delta variant. A number of the European countries, including those on the green list, are introduced stricter travel restrictions on British travellers. Malta, Portugal and Spain, as well as Hong Kong, are all concerned about the scale of the Delta variant in the UK. Portugal's government has placed mandatory 14-day quarantine requirement on arrivals from the UK who are not fully vaccinated in place. Previously, UK visitors who are exempt from quarantine, if they had evidence of a recent negative coronavirus test, it heavily restricts travel to the European country, which is on the government's amber list. However, these restrictions don't apply to the Portuguese island of Madeira, which has been placed on the government's green list, meaning English residents are being asked to quarantine upon their return to the UK. Meanwhile, Malta has been added to the UK's green list on Wednesday, But the central Mediterranean country announced that from that day, it would be only permanent UK visitors who are fully vaccinated. Children under 12 would be allowed to enter if they accompanied parents or guardians who had both doses. So look, I know it's going to be mandatory to have your dose. You might just go and get your the vaccination done. People that are being inappropriate for no reason. People that attacked Professor Chris Whitty I cannot get over it. Why are they just being pig-headed idiots attacking the government? The government, all the politicians need security guards at their side 24/7. Those aged between 5 and 11 would also have to show evidence of negative PCR test taken within the previous 72 hours. The Spanish authorities are introducing new restrictions on UK visitors to the Balearic Islands, which include Ibiza and Mallorca. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez told Radio Network Cadena SER that travellers who were not fully vaccinated must have taken a recent negative PCR test. The change will be enforced for 72 hours, he said on Monday morning. This means it will be in place and the Balearic Islands are added to the UK's green list on Wednesday. Hong Kong has to put on the UK's very high risk list, meaning it has banned arrivals from the UK unless the person is a Hong Kong resident or a spouse or a child or of a resident. The territory has also announced a ban on direct flights from the UK from Thursday. Rory Boland, editor of the magazine, which travel editor, said the changes of entry requirements for UK travellers demonstrate just how volatile international travel rules are at the moment. He went on, the cost of these changes will once again mostly fall at the feet of customers, many of whom will either have to pay to rebook their flight on holiday or pay extra for tests to gain entry to the destination. Many holiday makers set to travel this summer will soon have balances due on their holidays, often for trips booked several months ago. Holiday companies should be flexible about these and not force customers to pay for trips, and they don't look likely to take place. Booking travel currently carries considerable risk, and anyone booking a holiday should look for a good package holiday provider with a flexible booking policy that covers changes to traffic like statuses and entry requirements. That is all on today's news. I just want to give a shout out to a couple of my, I was an ex-professional boxer. I learned a lot with my professional boxing career. But it's not just about what I'm going to say about me. It's about the up and coming fighters that are going to be fighting the next forthcoming month. When things start to open up a little bit. We've got young Tyler Marriott. First of all, I want to give a shout out because it was in same constituency as me when I had my license. We used to train together. Young Tyler Marriott, he's training under Fight Pit Alan Ball's boxing gym. Fight Pit London, he's called it, his gym. He's a great up and coming boxer. He's had a bit of an amateur record, and also I'd like to give a massive shout out to Tommy Jacobs. He's an old colleague, because we used to train together back many moons ago. Many moons ago, we used to train together. And out of all the professional boxers back then, he was probably the most experienced. So I think he might have a short spell because of his age, but he's going to have a wondrous spell because of his age. He's jumping in deep end, fighting big name fighters. So let's hope we can all get behind him, support him on his journey. That's what we need to do. He goes under the name of Tommy Sweetie Jacobs, and he's also known as Roman Army, which is Colchester. Roman Army is the Colchester constituency. So a big shout out to the new and up and coming sports athletes. I'm very, very athleticism in mind, but my materials lie within media studies. But I always give a shout out my response to the adverse coming forward. Absolutely, they deserve it. And we deserve to look them up in the media for the forthcoming season of boxing, I suppose. So there you have it, ladies and gents. Thank you all for coming through. I am the prodigious, the prominent Professor Johnson at the Proclamation in Gareth. Always welcome to constructive criticism I don't mind constructive criticism, but any hatred criticism or breaching ASBO kind of criticism, it's not acceptable. I will ban it on my social media pages, but more than welcome any constructive criticism you might want me to add to the journal. Please feel free to put that in there, and I can see if I can adverse my characteristics and emphasize my abilitations across the border and hopefully get to a conclusion. When people come through, I like you to evaluate and compare and contrast my cognitive skills when I speak with the audience, how I can come up with different perspectives of, of different media. I like to come up with qualitative evidence. Not everything in the media is qualitative evidence, because we don't know who the journalist is. And if I said Conservative are the best government, that's not, unfortunately, that's not qualitative evidence. But I'll go with traditional values. My granddad fought under Winston Churchill. Winston Churchill was conservative, as you know. I was born in the post-modernism era of 1983, Margaret Thatcher. So it's just all fell into place. It's all fell into place, all followed suit. I am a Johnson by nature and Johnson by name. So that's another reason why I am a Conservative. I do like Rachel Johnson. She's a Lib Dem. I do like Lib Dem. So because that's why I listen to James O'Brien in the mornings. And he is a phenomenal speaker. He's in charge of his political, he's a political specialist. Very, very political specialist. He's quick-witty. He's in demand of his politics. He won't let someone speak over him. He won't let someone narrate his politics to him. He will tell him and break them down any which way possible. He'll give you the A to Z map of politics and bend you up backwards. That is James O'Brien. Like I say, I don't try and narrate an audience in and try and break them down, but we're always going to have differences. With when I have calls on my friend A that comes on, he's totally against politics. He's totally against the armed forces. But it's taking lives, isn't it? It's taking lives away. That's what he's getting at. The armed forces going to war is causing obscene disorder of taking people's lives. That's his. He wants to get rid of the military industry, full stop. But anyway, thanks all for tuning in. It's PNG. I appreciate you coming through. Please share, please subscribe, please give our channel a like. Appreciate you all. Take care. One love. Speak soon.